Boom, you are watching my YouTube channel. Subscribe, rate, review. Subscribe, rate, and review. Ask a question, leave a comment. We watch, we see them all.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Good. And your wife should have told you to get a.
I didn't think the other day when I was talking about this Mahmoud Khali or Khalil Mahmoud. People are saying his name is Khalil Mahmoud. Other people are saying his name is Mahmoud Khali. Terror groupie who is a college student at Columbia University. Columbia University, this place needs to be shut down. Shut it down. What a dump. What a pathetic dump Columbia University has turned into. This used to be a prestigious school like Columbia. Wow, Columbia Law School, Columbia this, that, and the third. What a piss hole you've let this turn into. And one of the main people that has been at the forefront of turning this once prestigious school into a dump box. It might as well be a city college. No disrespect to city college. It might as well be a city college or turn it into a practice facility for the New York Knicks / New York Rangers. That would be awesome. You'd have literal New York Knicks living in Manhattan, probably in Harlem, some downtown. You know how sick that would be? Shut that piss hole down, Columbia University. Shut it down. That would be awesome for it to be a practice facility for the New York Knicks. James Dolan, buy that place. You might as well rip up your diploma now. You go, oh, Columbia. It's like, oh, really, Columbia? What was it like when you were there? Oh, yeah, was it better than it is now? It's a dump. It's a joke. And this Mahmoud Khali, who's been arrested, detained, I believe he's in Louisiana. I hope it's hot in his prison. I don't know if it's super hot yet in Louisiana. I believe he's in Louisiana. I hope it's hot as down there. Him and his 8-month pregnant wife who's got the audacity. This woman had the audacity to put out a statement. Khalil Muhammad's wife had the audacity to put out a statement and say that her husband was kidnapped. Your husband was kidnapped? You have the audacity, the balls, the gall to use that word kidnapped? When there are 59 hostages who have been kidnapped for 520 plus days now. And you're talking about your husband who's a terrorist groupie, a wannabe terrorist who's here in this country on a college visa and then had the honor and the privilege of getting a green card, celebrating the terrorists of Hamas who perpetrated, who are literally have stolen property, kidnapped victims, 59 kidnapped victims right now. Some not too far away from the Columbus campus. Eden Alexander's from New Jersey. Omir Nutra is from Long Island. Itai Chen, family's from Brooklyn. And you got the balls and the audacity to say that your punk ass husband was kidnapped? This is why that happened to you. Why weren't you telling your husband, yo, chill, I'm 8 months pregnant? Why weren't you telling your husband, yo, Khalil, why don't you get a job, save up, I'm 8 months pregnant? You weren't saying any of that shit when he was taking over dorms, taking over college buildings, handing out pamphlets with Hamas on the pamphlets. You weren't saying any of that. And now you got the balls and the audacity to say that your punk ass husband was kidnapped. Fuck your husband. Fuck your husband, okay? And he's getting deported. He's getting deported. I feel it in my bones. And we're going to see if you really love that hoe. We're going to see if you really, really love Khalil Muhammad or Muhammad Khalil, whatever the fuck his name is. Because when he gets deported, what are you going to do, sugar tits? Your husband was kidnapped. Your husband was kidnapped. That's that Palestinian. That's that crazy, ridiculous right of return. We're going to do this. I'm going to act in criminal activity. I'm going to engage in criminal behavior. I'm going to bully Jewish kids on a college campus in New York City. I'm going to take over buildings in a college campus in New York City. And when there's ramifications, oh, he was kidnapped. He wasn't kidnapped. He was arrested. And this whole idea that this is some freedom of speech. Oh, you can't say this. This is a freedom of speech issue. No. Khalil Muhammad and your wife, Miss Khalil Muhammad or Miss Muhammad Khalil, whatever the your name is, I don't give a if I'm saying it incorrectly. Some people say it's Mahmoud. Some people say it's Muhammad. Some people say it's Muhammad. I don't give a if I don't give you the respect. You don't deserve the respect of saying your name correctly. They're saying it was a freedom of speech issue. No. He wasn't just talking about it. He was doing it. See, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to act. That's when you get yourself deported. That's when you get yourself snatched up by ICE. ICE, ICE, baby. Dun, 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 vanilla. ICE, ICE, baby. That's when ICE comes into your crib. It snatches up your husband. You're saying he got kidnapped. Well, you knew who took him. I'm sure when he got detained, he was right next to you. You didn't see the people that snatch up your husband? Kidnapped. Get the fuck out of here. Got the nerve and the audacity to use that word when there are 59 hostages, 5 Americans, a kid from New Jersey, a kid from Long Island. You got the audacity to use that term when your husband is celebrating, participating, engaging, spreading, riling up terror behavior? He loves kidnappers. Your husband loves Hamas. Your husband loves kidnappers. And now you're complaining about it? Now you're using that term? Out of here, lady. Out of here, lady. Like I said, your husband should have been reading What to Expect When Expecting. Your husband should have been reading Dr. Seuss. Your husband should have been getting as much money together. But instead, he's out there taking over buildings. And he didn't say any of that when he came over here for his interview for his college visa, did he? You weren't talking that when you had your meetings. You weren't saying, I love Hamas. I hate this country. When I get to Columbia University, I'm going to do my very best to celebrate, to perpetuate, to engage in criminal activity, to promote terrorist activity. You didn't say that when you had your little green card interview, when your little college visa interview, did you? Mahmoud. If you had said that when you had your interview, you think you'd be in this country in the first place? And now, oh, he's kidnapped. This is literally that Palestinian. This is that goofy. We can break into Israel on October 7th. We can do whatever the we want. We can rape. We can kill. We can murder. We can celebrate. We can decimate. We can do whatever we want. And then when Israel responds, oh, it's a genocide. Oh, what are they doing? What the did you think was going to happen? There's ramifications. There's ramifications to actions, Mahmoud Khalil. You can cry all that you want, Mahmoud Khalil's wife, and the rest of these motherfuckers that are going to get deported and arrested. Good. You lost your university $400 million, Mahmoud. The $400 million man, Mahmoud Khalil. You literally cost Columbia University $400 million. The $400 million Khalil Mahmoud or Mahmoud Khali and his 8-month pregnant wife. I say great. I say fantastic. I say awesome. You came here to engage in criminal activity. You didn't tell people when you had your visa, green card meetings that you suck Hamas.
I am Rapaport.
You cause trouble on universities. There's ramifications to your actings, Mahmoud. Mahmoud is not a victim. Mahmoud Khali led anti-Israel protests October 12th. He was waiting for this day. He was waiting for this day. He was out there with his keffiyeh scarf and his bullhorn, October 12th. Well, things were still being sorted out in the kibbutzes and all over Israel. Mahmoud was celebrating this. He was one of these that was celebrating this. He's the leader of CUAD, which was formed after SJP and JVP were suspended for what? Pro-terror activity. So he said, what am I going to do? I'm going to just rebrand. I'm going to rebrand. This guy's not a victim. He wasn't kidnapped. He was arrested. Mahmoud openly defended Hamas. Publicly, over and over and over and over and over. He said, we've tried armed resistance, which is legitimate under international law, but Israel calls it terrorism. Yo, let me tell you something. I am not no tough guy. You see him with the big groups? Big Shot, with his bullhorn Big Shot. If you saw this guy walking down Broadway and 101st Street by himself, you're public enemy number one, Mahmoud Khali. And I say, good. You brought all this attention onto yourself. Hey, all attention ain't good attention. There's a thing called negative attention. This is a lesson that you're going to have to teach your kid when you're back in Syria. You're going to have to say, son or daughter, all attention ain't good attention. I brought negative attention upon myself and upon my family. That's why we're back in Syria. You could have been with me living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan in my college dorm, my college building, but I wanted to be a big shot, terror, groupie, creep. And that's why we're back in Syria, dealing with all this crazy in a bomb shelter, in a kooky, crazy lunatic asylum. The shit that's going on in Syria. You didn't appreciate that you were in the United States. You didn't appreciate that you were in New York City. You wanted to be a big shot, Mahmoud. On the first anniversary of October 7th, Khalil Mahmoud or Mahmoud Khali led a pro-Hamas rally at Columbia. And he said, bring the war home. What does that mean, Khalil? Bring the war home? Bum-ass wife is talking about my husband was kidnapped. Bring the war home. Khalil Muhammad Khalil and your wife. Good. And your wife should have told you to get a job. Kidnapped my ass. Got a visa and a green card talking about this isn't just about Israel. It's about destroying the United States. This is the kind of people that the Democrats, this is why the Democrats, let me tell you something. You guys know I voted for cadaver Joe Biden, smoking Joe Biden. Okay? Voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay? This is why the Democrats are in the dump. Because you celebrate people like Khalil, Muhammad Khalil. You celebrate people like Luigi Mangione. You go out on the streets, you go crazy for the wrong people. These outlier freaks. You go nuts for the wrong people. I don't know if it's because you feel so bad about yourself. You have no self-worth. You have no knowledge of self. But you turn this piece Khalil Muhammad, all the Democrats, they're putting out statement after statement about free Khalil. This is a person has been arrested for free speech. A person has been arrested. He's an American citizen. This is why the Democrats are in the box that they're in. Because you got low-life creeps, con artists, race hustling, dumb like AOC, Ilhan Omar, Bernie Sanders, old, decrepit. And then you brought in the new regime. We're going to bring in the new energy. You need to bring in some new energy to your new energy. Bring in some new energy to your new energy. AOC, Ariana Presley, the squad, they're not doing it. You ain't going to get nowhere supporting this anti-American bully, big shot bully with his big bullhorn, Khalil Muhammad. Talking about just a couple of weeks ago, he wants total eradication of Western civilization. Can you imagine being in the United States on a green card, a college visa, and saying and being a part of a group, forming a group that vows to weaken U.S. imperialism and total eradication of Western civilization? This is who you guys are out in the street screaming about? This is who you guys are out in the street supporting? Cosplaying, keffiyeh scarf wearing creep suckers. We recognize that we must work hard to eradicate, to weaken U.S. imperialism. You're a visitor. Imagine I went anywhere and I started talking that crazy. And Mahmoud Mahmoud for a while, he didn't want to speak on camera because he was afraid of what? He said this. He was afraid of what? Green card issues. But the ego, I don't know if it was the ego or your dumbass wife. Somebody said, you must speak, Khalil. You must speak. You are our leader. Now you got arrested. Not kidnapped. You got arrested. I hope they ship this motherfucker out. Negotiator. He's negotiating. He's negotiating with Columbia University, and they're talking to this clown. He was the lead negotiator during all this going on, when they're taking over buildings, when they're doing encampments and all this goofy. You're the lead negotiator and you're here on a green card. I'd keep my head down. And your wife is pregnant? And now you're complaining about this? You brought this attention on yourself. At these rallies, Death to America, they're putting these red triangles. It's a symbol of death. These are the heroes. And you wonder why Trump clean sweep. You wonder why it's a Republican clean sweep. Because you celebrate the wrong Khalil Mahmoud, his wife. Khalil Mahmoud and his wife. We'll give him the same exact energy, the same exact attention, the same exact ferociousness that he's been wanting to give Jewish people and Zionists for the last year plus. Out of here. You were arrested. You were arrested for doing dumb shit. And I say, awesome. It's fantastic. More arrests. Next week is my birthday week, and I will be turning 55 years old. I cannot believe that I'll be turning 55 years old. But I am turning 55 years old on March 20th, which is the third week of March 2025. Wow. Man, 55. Man, if you had asked me when I was 25, what would I be doing when I was 55? I wouldn't even have an answer. 55 seemed like like Pluto or Mars. It seemed like some far off place. But here we are, as I head into my 55th year of being on this earth. Disruptive from the day I came out. I have been disruptive from the day that I came out. And I got so much more in the tank. I hope you got a lot in the tank. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm feeling really good. A little overwhelmed, 55 when I'm saying that shit. 55. I'm not 55 yet, but next week somebody will say, how old are you? And I got to go, I'm 55. That's going to be weird. The first time you have to say, I'm 55 years old. That's crazy. I am in a big time NBA mode, and the NBA is and always will be fantastic. The NBA is and always will be fantastic. And, you know, we were talking last week about the entire LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith story. And as much as I would like to put away the LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith story, Stephen A. Smith, I don't know if this was planned or the fact that he got a $100 million contract from ESPN. And Stephen A. Smith deserves a $100 million contract. The amount of years and the amount of inspiration, and he's an icon. Stephen A. Smith is truly an icon of popular culture, obviously sports culture. And if they're paying all these other guys up the wazoo, Stephen A. Smith certainly deserves all of it. I don't know why he's going on a press tour to discuss this situation, this moment, this exchange between him and LeBron James, why he's continuing to talk about it. I guess he wants to clear the air. I'm sure there's a part of him that's like, feels like, I had the opportunity to tell this guy to suck my and I didn't. He has changed his whole sort of take on it. First, he was very sort of understanding. He was very sort of understanding, I think is the best word. Understanding and compassionate about the fact that LeBron James came over to him during the middle of a game in front of the entire world. He didn't call him. He didn't meet him in the tunnel. He didn't text him. He didn't do any of that. He approached him in public about his son, Bronny James, who G League James. That's what we call him. Bronny James, we call you G League James. He's in the G League. And I did make a plea last week. I said, Bronny James, now is your time to step up like a man and show and prove that you belong in the NBA, that you aren't a fluke, that you weren't a freak, that you weren't just a Nepo baby, which you were and are a Nepo baby, but to show everybody that you truly belong, because the Lakers are dinged up. The Lakers are banged up. We don't know when, as of the recording this I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, when LeBron James will be returning to the Lakers. But G League James, that's what we call you, Bronny. G League James. Listen, if you get your shot, you can't be out there looking like you're in hot lava or in some sort of slow motion video, because the last time I saw you play for the Lakers, it was when you were in Philly. I believe you guys were in Philly. Yes, you were in Philly playing against, obviously, the Philadelphia 76ers. And it was literally like you were in slow motion. It was literally like you were like, I can't believe I'm in the NBA. That's how I would be. Me, Michael Rapaport, if I was in the NBA. That's how my dreams, I still have hoop dreams to this day. And they are always going slow. I'm moving slow. Things are happening in slow motion. But you, the last time I saw you on an NBA court for any substantial period of time was when you were in Philly. It literally looked like you thought you were in a dream sequence. Like you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm out here. And you were throwing the ball crazy slow. You were moving crazy slow. And then we see you in the G League and you're dunking and you're running. If you get back on the NBA court, yo, you need to hop up out of the matrix. You need to hop up out of whatever video game dreams you've had about playing in the NBA and get out there and act and perform like an NBA player. Now is your time. But Stephen A. Smith has been on a tour the last week. He was on Gilbert Arenas podcast, which is called Gil's Arena. He was on Sean Hannity. He's been on a couple of things explaining his side of the story. And it's like, I'm sure part of him is like, man, I can't believe this approached me like that. He probably has resentment. He probably feels like a sucker. But though, what are you going to do? He's 6'8", 250. And it's surprising. You should be worried about your team, LeBron James. You're worried about Stephen A. Smith. You know, the NBA is and always will be fantastic. The NBA is and always will be a gossip haven. There is no other sport that is more gossiped about, more discussed online, the secrets and lies. Major League Baseball doesn't do it, even the NFL. And you got some whack jobs in the NFL. You got some divas in the NFL. But there is nothing like the gossip and the sort of real housewives of the NBA than the NBA in 2025. But that's been the story all week since that happened. And the story should be that the Cleveland Cavaliers are cooking. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in the number 1 seed, not the Boston Celtics, the world champion Boston Celtics, not the New York Knicks, not the Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they are playing fantastic basketball. No one cares. It's Cleveland. I don't care how many dunks, what kind of bag Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have. Nobody cares. It is and always will be Cleveland. I don't care if you're the 1 seed, the 12th seed. I don't care if you're 82-0. It's always going to be Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. It is always going to be Cleveland. Okay? And I don't see the Cleveland Cavaliers winning the championship because they're the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't care how good their record is. Right now, they're 55-10. As of the recording this I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, they are 55-10, which is a serious record. The Celtics are 47-19. The Knicks are 42-23. And the story with the Knicks is that Mikal Bridges, for some reason, Mikal Bridges, who the Knicks gave up 5 first-round draft picks for. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5 first-round draft picks for. 5. Mikal Bridges, who is an Iron Man, who prides himself on being an Iron Man, who complained last year about not playing enough with the Brooklyn Nets. And I like Mikal Bridges. He's one of the New York NERDERBOCKERS. He's one of these nerds that play for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, nerd. Josh Hart, nerd. Karl-Anthony Towns, nerd. OG, he seems like a nerd. But the big 3 nerds are Mikal Bridges, the Villanova guys. They're nerds, and I like it. The days of thuggish, ruggish NBA players, that's in the 90s and the early 2000s. I like these nerds. I like Mikal Bridges. I like when he's on Phoenix. I like when he's on Brooklyn. And I'm glad that he's a New York NERDERBOCKER. But why would Mikal Bridges, Mr. Iron Man, have a conversation with Tom Thibodeau about the players playing too much and then tell everybody that he had a conversation with Tom Thibodeau about the players playing too much? Why? Why would you do that? This is a smart guy. I could tell Mikal Bridges is a smart guy. He's a nerd. This is a basketball nerd guy. Why would you tell the media about a private conversation you had with your coach about players for your team that are 42-23. The Knicks are 42-23 right now. And Mikal Bridges just hit the biggest shot of his season in Portland with the Portland Trailblazers. They beat the Trailblazers with Jalen Brunson, the king of all New York NERDERBOCKERS, who's hurt with an ankle injury. But why would you go to the press and say, hey, I just told our coach that I think that we're playing too much? Like, if you do think that the players are playing too much, why wouldn't you just keep that under wraps? It makes absolutely no sense to me. And now it's being set up. This is all going to be a setup, because if the Knicks get bumped out of the playoffs, or I should say when the Knicks get it bumped out of the playoffs, because the Knicks aren't winning a championship, one of the reasons is because they don't have a bench. One of the reasons that they don't have a bench is because of what, Mikal Bridges? What is one of the reasons why the Knicks don't have a great bench right now? I'll wait. One of the reasons why the Knicks don't have a great bench right now is because they gave up 5 first-round draft picks for you. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5 first-round draft picks for you. That's why they don't have a bench. They're also, the Knicks were in a rebuilding phase. Brick by brick. Nick by nick. But not pick by pick, because we have no picks, Mikal Bridges. But you can't have it all. You can't have the Knicks' fourth best player complaining about playing too much at this point in the season. And Thibodeau went on to explain that it's about matchups and, what do you want? 1 minute less? 2 minutes less? You're an Iron Man. Last year you were saying you didn't play enough in Brooklyn. Now you're saying you're playing too much? You're not the captain of the Knicks, Mikal Bridges. You're a good player. You're a good addition. I rock with you, but you're not the captain of the team. Now when the Knicks get bumped out of the playoffs, and we're going to get bumped. I don't know if it's going to be in the first round. I don't know if it's going to be in the second round. I don't know if it's going to be in the finals, conference finals, but we're going to get bumped. Is it going to all come back to this fake news that the New York Knicks players play too much? Because I was looking at the minutes played in the NBA, and Josh Hart, who loves to play, who prides himself, who wants to play more, who doesn't want to come out of the game. He is the minutes played leader in the NBA. And right behind Josh Hart is you, Mikal Bridges, with 37.8 minutes. Josh Hart plays 37.9 minutes. Tyrese Maxey plays 37.7. All you guys play 37 minutes. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Tyrese Maxey, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, OG Anunoby, he plays 36 minutes, Jason Tatum, and then you go all the way down to the bottom at 19, Jalen Brunson plays 35 minutes, Jaylen Brown plays 35. These are the stars. I just don't understand how in 2025, when you got ice baths, you got cold plunges, you got red light therapy, you got all these accoutrements. You fly on private planes, you got masseuses, you got thumpers, you got these portable massage things, you get every single thing, and you're complaining about playing too much, and you don't have any alternative because there's nobody on the bench, because I'll say it one more time, once and one more time final, you don't have anybody on the bench, Mikal Bridges, because we, the New York Knicks, gave away five draft picks, not second round draft picks like the aforementioned G League James, first round draft picks. That's one of the reasons. But it's just not good to do that in New York. Maybe you don't know where you are. Maybe, I don't know. He seems like he might be like a weed guy. I don't know. But it's just not a bad choice. It's not a classy choice. Keep things under wrap, man. You know what the New York Knicks media, the New York Knicks fan base is going to do? They're always complaining that the players play too much. And now you're complaining that the players play too much, but you know who's not complaining that he plays too much? Josh Hart. You literally have to wring him out of the game. Jalen Brunson isn't complaining about that. You just get here and now you're complaining about it? Yo, let the captain do that. El Capitan is Jalen Brunson. What else is going on in the NBA? Yo, Kevin Durant, most likely, as of the recording of this I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, you ain't making the playoffs. You and your man, Devin with the good hair, Booker, and you guys are not going to the playoffs, Kevin Durant, and you're healthy. And you're playing. And if you can't get a team to the playoffs, Kevin Durant, with this team that you have, with this crew that you have, this big three that you have, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and you, Kevin Durant, you can't even get into the play-in? What are you, man? Like, what are you? What are you? I don't understand that. You can't orchestrate, change, do enough things to facilitate, to buckle down, to tighten up the ship, to get into the playoffs. Devin Booker, Mr. Mamba mentality, Mr. 71 points, this, that, and the third. Bradley Beal with your no trade clause. Yo, they need to blow that whole thing up in Phoenix. Is a disaster. Who are you guys? What are you guys? It's crazy to me. The three of you, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, you should be able to at least get in the play-in. But right now you're not. And I say, fantastic. Good. Ha, ha, ha. I'm done. Tell a friend about the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Miles Jordan, a.k.a. the Bleach Brothers, a.k.a. the Dust Brothers. Take me out of it with something real nice. take me at it with something real, but most importantly, end this puppy with something real funk. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm out.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
Boom, you are watching my YouTube channel. Subscribe, rate, review. Subscribe, rate, and review. Ask a question, leave a comment. We watch, we see them all. Thanks for watching.